at the end of the day, the compact from the very beginning was, we get your data, you get to play in this for free. Everybody got that. So let's be really clear, this is not like everybody woke up this morning and discovered that they were giving their data away. We've been talking about this from the beginning, and that's, again, that's the compact, right? You want to pay for it, I think Cheryl said it the other day, you want to take the premium version, pay for it, but that's going to be the question. Like, how many people are ready to pay for it? And if you pay for it, what do you actually get? And then do you have opt-in? So I think, first of all, everybody knew that was going to happen. I think the issue was the amounts of data that were coming off. So everybody got that from the very beginning, there was an industry that grew up scraping the likes off when it was just in the early days. And so what could you learn from likes? I happen to think you could learn nothing, but that's a separate issue. I think the big revelation was this Cambridge not just taking your data and my data if it was us, but then taking our friends' data as well. I think it was that complete vacuuming that freaked everybody out, that people didn't realize was happening. And then them using it in other ways, not just online with Facebook, but just taking that data and doing other things with it. So I think that there's been an awakening of the notion of the data. Now, from my perspective, right, all these people are making money off of you and me. So the original deal was, yeah, you get to target me, which is okay. I mean, what does television do? Right, they target you with an ad. That's always been the, right, how did television work? Why did you watch it for free versus in other countries? Because you watched an ad. Nielsen figured out how to target you, clearly not as well as today, but somewhat. And in return for that, you watched all these great shows for free. The issue today, but they didn't make extra money off it. They made money off the ads and they ran and they did what they did. But these guys are making a fortune by limiting, if you will, access to you. They're the guardian between you and everything else. And it's not just Facebook, it's Google, it's everybody. Now, I posited a long time ago and said, well, what about if you shared that money with me? So what does it cost me to be on your platform? Okay, take that out of the equation. So I'll give you that money up front. And now let's talk about what's it worth to get to me? Because you know how direct marketing works, right? There's an allowable. An allowable is how much the direct marketer is ready to spend to get you to do whatever it is that you want. So if it's a car company, it used to be $400, let's say. So it's worth $400 to get you into a test drive. And that's what they would do. They would market to that $400 level. Anything below it was great. Anything above it, they were losing money. So if they're spending $400 to get you into the car and they're giving that $400 to Facebook, why shouldn't Facebook give you 200 of that 400? Everybody makes money that way. So I'm exaggerating a bit in these numbers, but it doesn't make a difference. The truth is, at some point, you should be in charge of your data and you should be able to control the amount of money that you either want to take in or give out or whatever, which I think will in fact change the equation. Now, to your point, look what's happening in Europe, tamping down on data. It's going to happen here in the US. It already is in a sense, because Facebook said that they're going to take a more stringent view. So I think we have yet to see what happens.
On a completely different topic around creativity and TV and video, there's a lot going on, as you know, not just the incredible opportunities in digital, but also in linear, where we're seeing 6-second commercials, we're seeing longer form, we're seeing lower ad load during the hours, and we've heard some announcements. You know, what's exciting, challenging about the new form factor around television advertising?
I'm not sure what the new form factor is. So you talk about 6 seconds. I remember when it was 15 seconds. So I was experimenting with 15 seconds when I first came into the business in 1976. So now we put it in half. Okay, big deal. It's like, at some point, and we'll go to 1 second. You know, it doesn't excite me in the least bit because it's just an evolution, and if it works, you try it. We've done we've done 6 seconds that have been really successful. We've done 15 seconds, we've done 60. So now what's called long form, by the way, is a 60-second commercial. So they don't want to say 60s because somehow they think that makes them dinosaurs. In our day, in my day, long form was 190 seconds, maybe even longer. That was real DM. So long form today is not long form at all. They don't know what long form is. So I think the problem is that we're swirling around stuff that's been done forever and pretending it's brand new. It actually pisses me off, frankly, because it's all the data is there, all the use data is there. Clearly we overloaded the pods with advertising, and again, if you go back, and again, when I came into the business, we were already talking about advertising overload in 1976. So imagine how much worse it got today. So this is not new. It just got worse, but it's the same problem. And I think that the real issue is, how do we stop the digibabble and just get to the notion of people first and say, okay, what are you ready to give me? How much are you ready to watch? How much will you actually listen to? And how impactful can I be? So maybe I'll charge you a little more if I only have 2 commercials in the pod. So you advertise, will you pay a little more if you know the impact is there? My sense is you will, if I can prove it.
And what about the opportunities for creativity around sort of creative optimized? In other words, if you're able to target to so many small groups or even individuals, what are the opportunities to do creative in a sort of iterative way, or is that not necessary?
So, well, we've done it. We started doing this in 2000. We experimented with, I think it was called Visible World was the company. We did the original with 1-800-Flowers, where we were cutting you created the donut, you had lots and lots of assets, and you would cut something very specific for not a person, but for the channel, because it was all channel based. So it's pretty interesting. So for example, if you were 1-800-Flowers and you was Hallmark channel, you kind of knew it was mom, so you would put some mom kind of flower on. And if it was something else and it was coming towards Valentine's Day and you knew it was guys, you'd cut it that way. So we've done that stuff before. I think the real issue is, how valuable is quote unquote one-to-one? Is it real? I don't think so, frankly, because we're serendipitous beings. We're very serendipitous beings. And so you need to put an idea in your head and hope that you act on that idea, give you the reason to act on the idea, create the environment for you to act on the idea, not necessarily a specific thing and then leave it at that. Because you might react to that specific thing or not. Ask yourself, how many times have you clicked on that very specific thing that's been targeted to you in the most incredible way that you know you want, those purple whale pants, with little pink embroidered whales on it, which they've shown you 100 times because they know based on your data that you want it. Have you ever bought them? No. So what does that say? So I think that we're still trying to find our way around this. That's why you hear more people talking about branding. So like we've gone back to the future in a sense, because as the Facebooks and the rest began to discover that in fact people weren't necessarily going down that pathway of buying specific things, they started themselves talking more about, well, you have to do more branding. Make sure you have your brand in there, and make sure you're giving a good branding message, right? Because they knew that it wasn't, the serendipity precluded a buy immediately. And so once you did that, you had to be back in this realm of how do you brand more so.